say, oh, I'm going to go cry in a room. Go cry in a room, bro. We losers.
What's your take on it?
100%. I mean, like, the most successful world leaders of all time were authoritarian. They didn't, like, try to dial back what was true and what was false in order to appease the people's feelings. If something needed to get done, they said, this is how it's going to be. They, like, ruled the nation.
The most successful world leaders of all time were authoritarian? Is that why, when the whole world came crumbling around Hitler, he popped himself in the mouth with a pistol? I'm just saying, like, didn't Benito Mussolini get ganged up on by his own countrymen and killed and hung in the street? I don't know if I want to show that video. I don't know if I can show that video. It happened it did not happen 100 years ago. World War II has not been a full 100 years yet. That's crazy. It hasn't even been 100 years. No, the most successful leaders of all time were not authoritarians at all. The most successful, like, define success. Success for you, as in you get to run the whole show at the expense of your political future? Or success for the nation? Sneako does not know what he's talking about. Vibrance, he says, he's acting like people agree with him on that video. Everyone was against him in the comments. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Myron gives much value to social validation or, like, people liking or accepting him, which is interesting. You know? I wonder if Brittany would consider him autistic. I don't know. I don't know why Myron doesn't care about, like, trying to, because it's funny, because, like, in spite of all the stuff Andrew Tate is being accused of, he seems to actually care on some level about coming across a certain way. He seems to care about engaging in conversations with a certain level of tact. Myron could not care less. I don't know why Myron is that way. I don't know. But Sneako saying the most successful leaders were authoritarian? No, the fuck they weren't. At all. The most successful leaders know when their time is up as a leader and when it's time for someone else to take place. Like, the idea that the most successful leaders were authoritarian is so ridiculous. Like who? Hitler? Stalin? Hirohito? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Mao? Like, Putin? Whose people are struggling? Oh, Kim Jong-un, whose people are starving? Like, bruh.
With an iron fist. You need people. It's refreshing.
We're content creators, or we're not nation leaders. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but that's saying that the middle.
Like, thank God Bradley Martin's here to speak some reason. And I'm not being sarcastic. He goes over to talk about the most successful world leaders were authoritarian and we got to be like, bro. Like, most of these dudes died horrible deaths because they didn't give a fuck about what other people thought. They didn't care about other people. The only person who mattered was them. That's why for the majority of authoritarian leaders, it almost always either A, ends with the people overthrowing them and killing them, or B, the people still being in a shitty position, still being untaken care of, still, being poor, broke, unfed. Like, the fact that, what is he, 25? Like, bro is 25 talking like this, bro. Come on, bro. Like, this is understandable from a 15-year-old. But, like, from a 25-year-old, like, bro, like, come on, bro. Like, really, bro?
Effective. Because people are going to be like, well, yeah, you're okay.
But sometimes you have more influence than national leaders.
That's true. That's why mainstream media is dying so much.
Yeah, like, some of these creators have more influence than national leaders.
Right. Politicians don't have movements behind them anymore. I think that more people would go to, like, a Fresh and Fit podcast rally than a Joe Biden rally. I think you could have actually more people show up to hey, gym protest. And there's going to be more energy for the fact that they closed down your gym than a Joe Biden rally. And he did. He's the sitting president of the United States of America.
It was lit. We did that.
Where do you think there was more energy? Like, outside a gym with some kids who are upset about the gym closing, or Joe Biden talking about whatever?
Obviously outside the gym, bro.
And that's the sitting president. So this is important to talk about. It's refreshing because this like la-da-da-da-da, it's been going on too long.
Especially in 2024, like, there's certain influencers that, like, transcend borders and have more influence than some of these national leaders. Why do you think they shut Andrew Tate down so hard? They did, like, a concerted effort. We got to ban him everywhere. We got to ban him on YouTube, on Instagram, etc. We got to ban him. And the reason why is because he was able to inspire the youth into, having a more dissident mindset.
So, and then it all comes down to control thing. It seems like all this stuff boils down to just being able to, like, more easily control a population to do whatever you want it to do for money.
A fat, weak, depressed, genderless population is much easier to manipulate and control than people who are going to the gym every day and don't care about your feelings.
Women too. That's why they push feminism. So when you push feminism,
yeah, I mean, this is just so not true. Like, these conservative dudes love to act like because of the lifestyle they live, they can never be lied to or manipulated. But we know that's not true. Tucker Carlson tricked y'all into thinking that Russian groceries are cheaper than American groceries. They're not. Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest of the fucking Freedom Caucus, or whatever the fuck they're called, lied to y'all and convinced y'all that supporting Ukraine is a bad thing. This foolishness, this nonsense, this absolute insanity of, because we're conservative and go to the gym, and I'm someone who goes to the gym all the time, because we're conservative and we go to the gym and we work out and we don't care about feelings, we're somehow, we know how the world works. You don't. You don't. You absolutely don't.
Right? And you tell women they're equal to men, etc. Well, okay, cool. They're equal to men, right? They can do everything that a man can do. But the reality is that women are way more susceptible and way more malleable to influence. This is why when you look at like fashion trends, when you look at advertisers, how they do their ads, etc., it's almost always appealing to women, right? Because women are the consumers. 80% of the consumer base is female. 3/4 of that is controlled by women. So who's the one spending the money? Women are. So if I'm an advertiser, am I going to go ahead and market to men who are way harder to sell to, way less agreeable, etc., or am I going to market to women? I'm going to market to women. So I'm going to go ahead and tailor my ads to women, to the weak-minded individuals, so that I can go ahead and make sales. This is why the liberal agenda, the feminist agenda has been pushed for so long, because it's easier to sell to weak-minded individuals.
And if you install feminism within the population, then the woman's going to be the one leading the household. And women think emotionally by nature. There was a moment yesterday, Myron's girlfriend and I, she was in the room when we were catching the pedophiles, and this guy literally admitted to texting 12-year-old boys, and he was caught red-handed with all this information. And I was like getting in his face and getting aggressive, kind of how you were. And then Myron's girlfriend was saying like, "You're scaring him."
You felt bad.
You're scared.
She felt a little bit of
Good.
compassion.
We need to scare these people. So if you let the emotional mind of a woman, like, no offense, but let's be real. If you let the emotional mind of a woman have any sort of control and power, then the people that are really in control can dominate you easily.
That's why we give all this money to homeless and open borders and everything else like that. Like, that's what happens when like these wokies and people that are too compassionate get in office and they get power. And
okay,
you know, an example of this, I always like to.
I disagree with open borders. I disagree, but like, are we actually mad about giving money to the homeless? Like, what the fuck is bro, like conservative ideology, like, you're so close, but just like, bro, like open borders. I come on, I know, like, look, I'm not for open borders either. I'm not. But like, why, like, what's the problem with taking care of the fucking homeless? Like, how can you niggas talk about Christ is king and then ignore the part where Jesus says, like, sell all your belongings and follow me? Like, blessed is the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Like, we're just going to ignore what the man actually said and just, like, decide what we want to decide. Okay.
Refer to, like, the Gillette commercial, right? Back in, like, 2019, I don't know if you remember this. Yeah, like, Gillette released a commercial talking about toxic masculinity, etc. Like, the fact that Gillette thought it was okay to release a commercial ostracizing their target base, which is men, and just on them for, like, 10 minutes talking about toxic masculinity, all this other stuff, goes to show who really buys and who they're advertising to, right? Could you imagine if Victoria's Secret put out an ad? Women, you need to stop making false accusations. You need to stop being hoes. You know, we're going to go ahead and burn our bras, and you guys need to do better and stop being fat. Victoria's Secret will be out of business tomorrow. But they went ahead and felt okay with targeting men, on men. Gillette did this. Obviously, they lost a bunch of money doing it. But the fact that they even thought it was appropriate to do it tells you the current culture that we're in now, where advertisers are more concerned with being woke. They're more concerned with appealing to females, etc., because they know women spend the majority of money. So if you go...
I mean, Myron's right about that. Gillette, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, if you want to appeal to women, just make a women's ad. Just make a women... Like, women have hair, too, on their bodies. Like, women aren't a different species. They have hair. They just shave it. Why not encourage them to use your product? Right? Your fucking shaving cream, your razors, your gliders, whatever they're called. Like, just tell women, hey, Gillette, we got products just for you. Instead of trying to sit there and make men feel like shit, how about you just market a product to women? I will say this much, though. There is an issue where people feel like in order to cater to a certain group, you need to shit on the other group. You don't need to shit on men to, you know, improve your standing as a company with women. It's not necessary. You don't have to do that. You don't have to sit there and shit on men. So I will agree the Gillette commercial is indicative and pretty much a clear sign of a lot of media trying to demonize men or trying to demonize masculinity in this attempt to, I guess, appease women or to somehow or another, you know, ingratiate themselves with women. But, you know, I think most women are reasonable people. I think most women think that most men are reasonable people. I don't think that most women want men to be demonized in commercials. I think most people are either generally reasonable and generally neutral. I don't think it's necessary to demonize men in the commercial. So I'll give it to Myron. That Gillette commercial was definitely a horrible idea. And I'm not going to lie, conservative political pundits ate good off of that video. That video was a dream come true for Gavin McInnes. All those conservative commentators back in the day, 2018, 2017, a dream come true for those guys for sure.
Ahead, and you have a population that's run by women that are malleable to influence, and then you got a bunch of wokey men who are fat, weak, not going to the gym, not taking the health serious, and they're concerned with being politically correct. You can easily control the population.
Is there a middle ground, or that's impossible?
No, middle ground is never going to work. It's never going to work because then too many people are. You need to have somebody like a dictator tell you right from wrong. Like democracy doesn't work.
This nigga is retarded. Oh my god. Wait, is my stream getting taken down for saying that? Sneako's the dumbest man on like gotta be the dumbest content creator on YouTube. Democracy doesn't work. Really? Democracy doesn't work. So one person has the answer to everyone's problems. You think that's smart, but you think it's dumb to elect representatives of different people from different parts of the country with different issues, different economic issues, different biomes. People living in fucking Washington state are going to have different ecological, environmental issues from people living in fucking Florida, right? Would it make sense for one fucking guy to have an answer to all of that? Or does it make better sense for there to be elected representatives who can come to a central governing area and present their issues from their constituency and have problems addressed? One person trying to juggle everyone's problems in 2024 is fucking impossible. In the medieval times, maybe when everyone's problems were kind of similar and everyone lived in a similar land in Europe, but like, come on. In 2024, in modern times, dictatorships is the answer. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the type of stupid shit conservatives are embracing in today's day and age. This is the type of stupid shit Republicans are embracing in today's day and age. Trump is going to become a problem if we don't defeat him. Because we have people like this, Republican supporting, if we could call Sneako that, a political pundit saying, we need a dictator to tell people what to do. Look at history's dictators. They all went up in smoke. Even Julius Caesar, one of the greatest dictators, if you will, of all time, even he went out. Bruh. Like, come on. Authoritarian leaders are not a sign of strength. It might be a sign of personal strength. Oh, I get to tell people what to do. I get to control this. I get to control that. But your people aren't well taken care of. It happens in almost every single authoritarian regime. The idea that one man has the answer to everyone's problems is false. How the fuck are you even going to elect this? Like, are you going to elect this one man? How do you decide who deserves to be in control? Your opinions, what you think? What about experts, researchers, other politicians? How are you going to decide who gets to hold all the cards? Is it just based upon whether they agree with you or not? This is what I'm talking about. Like, Sneako is a special type of stupid, bro. A real special type of retarded.
And have to register under selective service, right? As a man in the United States, if you don't register for selective service, you can go to jail, you get fines, you don't get federal aid if you want to go to college, etc. Women don't have to register for selective service. And then
this is to go to the military.
Yeah.
To
right?
have like you have to.
You have to. Yeah, when you turn 18 as a guy, you have to. We're all. I'm sure you did it too. You might not remember, but like, you have to register for selective service. Otherwise, you're not going to get federal aid if you want to go to college. You can't get a federal job. It's going to you up. You're going to get fines, potentially go to jail, right?
I don't remember ever. I know you have to. I just don't remember doing it. I know I joined the military, which might be the reason why I never got one in the mail. Maybe I did, and I just probably don't remember signing up for selective service. I don't remember doing it. But I swear to God, I don't remember doing it at all. But yeah, for me, it probably doesn't even count because I signed up to join the military before I even graduated. So, I don't know.
For selective service. And then on top of that, I think if a woman does get a full vote, she either has to have military service, some kind of government service, etc. She has to have some skin in the game, be a real estate property owner, something. But the problem is that when you have a bunch of people voting that don't have skin in the game, that don't serve in the military, that don't have any public service, that don't understand how the government works, etc., what ends up happening is they put idiots like Biden in because they don't understand how the real world works.
70% of women, American women, voted for Joe.
But, bro, the fact that these fucking buffoons think that Joe Biden doesn't know how the world works, y'all are the same morons who want Donald Trump to be in office, who wants Putin to take over Ukraine. Because you morons think that the United States benefits economically and geopolitically from Russia winning in Ukraine. Who in the fuck are y'all to talk about people understanding the world? It's a damn shame that women do seem to be better at picking presidential candidates than y'all. This is the one part of this fucking podcast that's probably about to have me tight. Pause. Is the fact that for some reason, y'all seem to think that y'all have the fucking answers. All of them. You don't. You don't. Authoritarian leaders are the best. Women don't understand the world. Liberals don't understand the world. That's why they voted for Joe Biden. As if Trump and MAGA have an understanding of the world. The same MAGA who's, VIP, who was supposed to, not VIP, who was supposed to be the vice president, VP candidate, Kristi Noem. Her, the one who sat there and talked about shooting her dog. Or Marjorie Taylor Greene, the moron who's repeatedly shoving a circle through a square hole trying to get Johnson removed from the fucking speakership. Like, what are we, the same Republicans? We had Ann Coulter telling Vivek Ramaswamy she wouldn't vote for him because he's fucking brown. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Y'all don't have, if there was any group that didn't have the answers on how to run this country, it's first and foremost y'all.
Biden. I think like over half of them regret it. 3 years later.
Over half of them are what?
Regret like their decision.
Where do you see those stats at?
I just made it up.
Oh, okay.
No. It's real. It's real. I'm sure I saw that, but it's true. Okay. 70% of American women did vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah, most women vote Democrat. That's just the reality. The black community, minorities, and women typically vote Democrat. That's just
They're
been
always
historically
like, we're gonna do
the case.
stuff for you.
If you see anything pushed by the mainstream narrative, just think that they don't actually care about you. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to become a winner because then you're going to challenge the status quo. They want you to be controllable forever. So if you see it pushed by any like major politicians, if you see it pushed by the mainstream media, always immediately think this is a lie. Well, Lemon's a complete pawn. Like, let's be real. The reason that he got married and he had this giant ceremony for his gay marriage is because they're trying to disrespect Christianity. They know that something like Christianity is going to make you feel stronger. It's going to not make you listen. If you have strong Christians in a country, they're not going to believe in all the propaganda. They're going to believe in what's in the Bible. They're going to believe what's in the church and what they're hearing from there. They took a picture.
Bro, this man is fucking, like, oh my God. So because you read the Bible, you automatically just can see through any and all propaganda? Are you serious right now? Like, why do they give this little nigga a mic, bro? Why is this little nigga, like, why does he, like, bruh, like, oh my God, bro, like, he's too old to be safe, but he's 25, bro, come, like, bro, like, let's be for real, bro, like, this nigga's 25 years old, bro. How are you 25 saying stupid shit? Just because you believe in God and read the Bible does not mean you know anything. Maybe you could pass a Bible quiz. The end. Like, bro, Sneako too old. Like, bro, like, I don't know why anyone above the age of 19 has any faith in Sneako.
When he got married in front of the church, wearing the suits, and that's one of the biggest acts of blasphemy. He's disrespecting a traditional ceremony, which is marriage, which should be between a man and a woman. I don't think anybody
shouldn't be getting married in the United States.
Absolutely not.
I think they should not be allowed the religious ceremony that men and women enjoy with the confinements of their religion, whether it's Islam, Christianity, whatever. All the Abrahamic religions don't believe in homosexuality.
The same way that siblings shouldn't get married, or like a mother and a son shouldn't get married. Like gay people should.
I think they should have the ability to go ahead and do civil unions so that they can go ahead and get some of the tax benefits and some of the protections afforded through.
But aren't you
marriage.
guys both like gay, low-key?
On Saturdays, yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Because they got the. You guys don't see that the pictures.
Yeah. I could address that here in a second, right? For all the low IQ idiots.
This is a human nature. Like we could sit here all day and say, it would be like this, or it could be like this, or this could be a better world if it was like more reciprocal, more synergy, and not like, oh, I have more power, so I'm just gonna take advantage of all of it. But the reality is, like, human nature is baked into that, where it's like that's not how humans operate.
Yeah.
Like if
I don't
you
have
had
a
all
problem with them having power. I don't have an issue with that. My problem is if you call it out, that's when you get silenced. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't have a problem with certain people having. I don't care. Control whatever infrastructures you want to control. But my issue is your ability to be able to call it out, especially when you live in the United States where it's a free speech country.
Yeah.
If it's Australia or one of these other countries where like they don't really have free speech like that, the UK, fine, it is what it is. But like in the United States where it's the First Amendment, where you should be able to have free speech, that's where I draw issues.
I have an issue with that. I think that there should be people, the elected officials, should believe in things that we can agree on that are right from wrong and good for bad. If they don't believe in heaven and hell and that if they don't believe in an afterlife, then they probably don't have a moral compass that I think is good for the rest of the world. So you should have people that are in charge that.
Oh my God. Like, oh my, there are people out there that believe in heaven and hell, but also believe in child marriages, G. Like, bro, like, so like, if there's a button, the skip Sneako button, bro, where is that? Where is that? Why is he so dumb? Why? If they don't believe in, bro, this nigga's listening to Nick Fuentes, bro. Like, he's letting Nick Fuentes put all this stupid shit in his head. If they don't believe in heaven and hell, they won't have a good moral compass. Like, do you know how many founding fathers weren't even God believers? Like, oh my God, bro. Like, oh my God, bro. Like, you know, I have to wonder how many presidents weren't even Christian but lied to get elected. Like, history is littered with people who didn't really care about God, but were pretty decent leaders. Like, the idea that because someone doesn't believe in God, they're not going to have a moral compass. The majority of the ugliest people in human history, and by ugly, I mean horrible people, the majority of them believed in some kind of creator. The idea that because someone believes in God, they're not going to do horrible things is contradicted by the majority of human history. This shouldn't even be This little nigga stressing me out, bro.
Know right from wrong, and a lot of them don't.
And also, they can't have dual allegiance to other countries, and that's the other problem too. Is that like a lot of these, people that are in these positions of power, they have dual allegiance, and a lot of the times, this dual allegiance puts us in a precarious situation geopolitically.
Yeah, but your point about like believing in a God or otherwise you're just gonna like do something and just take advantage of people.
It's human nature.
Yeah, but you don't think that there is just good in people where even if you didn't have that sort of belief that you couldn't be a good person?
You can, but it's easier to corrupt those people. Like, it's better to follow somebody who has a strict set of rules about what's right from wrong. Or well,
it's easier to corrupt someone who probably thought to themselves, why do I believe this? And do I believe this? You think Sneako actually believes it's easier to influence someone who isn't easily influenced. Like, if you go your whole life being a Christian because your parents taught it to you and you never question it once, you're easily influenced, G. At least you're probably more easily influenced than someone who's actually asked themselves questions about why they believe it and if they still want to believe it. Sneako has to be the least critical thinking person on human, in human existence.
They're going to be able to stray away very easily. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
That's what the phrase. That's what the saying.
You can be a good person, but these people they bend and fold much easier without specific guidelines.
So you don't think
that's why we have laws written in place, laws that are divorced from the church, laws put in place to keep people who have power in check. We don't just have faith in someone to do the right thing because they're a God believer. Like, the idea that somehow or another, because someone's a God believer, they're all of a sudden trustworthy to run the country. If that were the case, we wouldn't have written laws in place to protect, like, all of these checks and balances we have in America, and none of them have to do with God. Oh my God.
Person could just create their own guidelines, like just being a good person, like whether they're religious or not.
But how do we know what that is? Right,
because like there's certain innate
but there's
things.
a lot of things we disagree on, like Don Lemon getting married to another man. You're like, okay, it's not hurting so much, and then where do you draw the line? And then a mother and son are getting married, and then like, well, some people say it's okay, like they seem happy, blah blah blah. There should be someone that says, no, this is absolutely wrong. I don't care if they're happy. This is not good in society. Or like a man marrying a dog, like yeah, they might be happy.
Religion provides those parameters.
You need to have specific guidelines because if you just say like, oh, we're good from bad, then you let humans judge.
Religion, specifically Islam, allows people to marry kids. Hello? Like, these two, the cognitive dissonance in these two is insane. Specifically Sneako. Myron, I actually think Myron's smarter than Sneako by like a massive mile.
From bad, and we're flawed. I'm flawed. You're flawed. We are always going to make mistakes. The one perfect thing is God.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely not disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
I hear that.
And secularism does breed like degeneracy, and a lot of the problems that we have in society now comes from, you know, secularism. So, you know, and I'm not perfect either. But I can objectively look and be like, okay, secularism has created a bunch of problems that we have right here in modern day society. That's, you know, led to the disintegration of the family unit, religion, etc. All these like things that used to kind of be in place to keep society pushing forward. The United States was strongest when 1940s, 1950s, etc. And when we were a very, you know, powerful Christian country where we prioritized the family.
I don't think the United States was at its most powerful back then at all. The United States was we're probably at our strongest right now, if I had to guess. Well, actually, we're having recruitment problems, but I'd say around the 90s to the 21st century, like, I don't think we were at our strongest back then. Maybe economically. But that has nothing to do with Christ. Like, we became the most powerful nation in the world because after World War II, everyone was in fucking ruins but us. Germany ruins, Britain ruins, all of Europe ruins, Japan ruins. The whole world was fucked up but us. And on top of that, the weapons production we were involved in World War II made us a fuck ton of money. And if I recall correctly, a lot of people who agree with Sneako and Myron always demonize the military-industrial complex. So as these guys continuously demonize the military-industrial complex, as these people continuously demonize what actually makes America strong, which is our amazing geopolicy, you know, it's funny how they think Christ or Islam is the answer to making a nation powerful. These guys are literally stuck in, like, AD, like, BC fucking, like, you know, antiquity. It's ridiculous. It's fucking... Myron's a little bit more reasonable, but Sneako is just, like, the brain rot is unbelievable.
Having children, etc. But now we're moving more towards you know, let's just have fun and party and, you know, more degenerative lifestyle that's more concerned with, you know, today versus the future.
Yeah. But do you guys ever feel that some of the stuff you say you ever hypocritical about your own actions?
Yeah, of course, man. Like, nobody is ever going to be perfect. I get that criticism all the time because I'm Muslim, and it's like, oh, well, we saw you in, like, afterwards, I saw in the UFC party, like, after the last event, like, there was Sugar Sean was hosting a thing. Like, should I have been there? Probably not. Like, I probably should. But, like, the temptation is strong. Like, he just want to fight. All my friends are there. All these influencers in there. Like, I want to go. You know, but it does that.
I didn't post that video, by the way.
No, I know you didn't. But like, people will criticize me so much for that. You get these people attack, like, look at him here. I know you didn't post it, but it's like, of course we're going to be hypocritical. But that, I think, is, I actually think that's one of the dumbest criticisms I see from non-believers or the people that think like, oh, just be a good person. It's like, to look at a human as an example of good and evil is such a dumb idea because we are all susceptible to be corrupted. We are never going to be perfect. And to think that any human is ever going to be perfect is a very silly way to operate. Like, you can only look at the Most High as an example.
Don't Muslims idealize Muhammad as the greatest person to ever live? Bro, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just let Sneako say dumb shit and not respond.
Dude, they pretty much have like a third of the country under control on the east side.
It's not even close.
But people have been saying for years, Russia's gonna lose this war. Russia's losing, but it was propaganda to make us feel better for sending Ukraine all this money. It's a losing war.
God, the money thing.
It wasn't bro, okay. We could have actually stopped Russia. We could have actually made a significant amount of progress against Russia. Part of the reason why we were losing was because Republicans wouldn't allow us to send the funding necessary. Republicans lied about how much money was going to Ukraine and how significant the money was to the American people to convince them not to send money to Ukraine. When conservatives sit there and lie about it was always a losing war, no, it wasn't. We thought Russia was going to annex the entire country within about 2 months tops. Instead, they failed and were beaten back from Kyiv, and now the war is basically along the lines of the East. We could have stopped Russia from making any significant headway since being beaten back to the East, but instead, Republicans made a significant effort to derail bills being passed to Ukraine. Not to mention our European allies being completely unprepared for war, which is fucking ridiculous. The fact that they weren't ready for some shit like this to happen. The idea that we were, Ukraine was always going to lose this war. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. It's absolutely false. The idea that it was always a losing conflict is ridiculous. If anyone went into this thinking they were going to win and, woke up to a rude awakening, it was Russia. Absolutely.
It just always comes back to the
foreign
money,
aid, bro. Foreign aid is a big waste of money. We shouldn't do it anymore.
Foreign aid is a big waste of money. I feel like a dork right now correcting. Well, actually, I feel like a dork, but like it's just so much false information. Like foreign aid makes up like 1% of our GDP and is a significant part of the reason why there's been a significant decrease in global disease, global war, an increase in GDP for poor countries because they have the infrastructure necessary to participate in the global economy. When people sit there and call foreign aid a waste of money, it's like, what would you prefer? For Africa, Latin America, and like Southeastern Asia to be hotbeds of extreme poverty and disease? It's already like that in some areas, but thanks to foreign aid and foreign funding, we're able to decrease that to some extent. It's conservative media is fucking crazy, bro. And these motherfuckers swear they have the answers because they follow God. They actually think they're Kanye West. Bruh.
The money thing, man. It always gets so tiresome.
And Ukraine is like one of the most corrupt countries in Europe. It's one of the poorest with Moldova, right? Like,
if corruption is the problem, why are y'all so pro-Russia? Because I'm willing to bet a significant amount of money that Russia's the most corrupt nation in all of Europe. Like, how in the fuck is a country in which a private military contracting CEO tries to invade the capital of the country, how is that not a prime example of corruption? How is it also not a prime example of corruption for that man to be blown out of the sky? Like, do these people hear themselves? And then say to themselves, oh, Ukraine's a poor country, so we all of a sudden don't give a fuck about countries because they're poor? Ukraine has economic value. It's just that Russia significantly hampered that by taking Crimea. And now they're about to take up a significant amount of Ukraine's important natural resources that aids their economy. And how is Russia able to do this so well? Because we haven't been able to send them the funding. We haven't been able to send Ukraine the funding and the weapons they need because of Republicans. It's actually sick. This is sick.
You see all this, it's like, I saw post the other day that was like NASA's gonna put a train rail on Mars or something, the moon or whatever, and I'm like, what are we doing here, man? Like that's what I never understand. Like, what about America? Like, it's like and I understand obviously we have interests or allies and these reasons why money's here or there, but it's like, all right, well, how many hundreds of millions and billions of dollars got to go out before it's like, yo, fix some here?
Well,